All right, let's get to it. What Iranians do better than Americans? We're looking at the Islamic Republic of Iran. So number 10, rice. Iranian rice is super yummy. The bottom layer is actually crunchy, and when I ate with an Iranian family, they said it was a special treat to get to eat the crunchy part. Her kids actually fought over it. But they use long grain rice, and it's sometimes topped with currants, which are dried berries, but there's always saffron in it to flavor it, which is a very popular spice in Iran. Number 9, tea. I love Turkish tea, but Iranian tea was my favorite. Cooked with loose leaf black tea, Iranian tea has a wonderful flavor. It is hot tea, and you drink it with a little bit of sugar. Number 7, oil, petroleum. The majority of the world's petroleum is, of course, located in the Middle East. The United States only has 2% of the world's oil reserves, and Iran has an outstanding 10% of the world's oil reserves. Number 7, history. The Persian Empire had the greatest empire the world had ever seen until Alexander the Great conquered them. And part of this has to do with their ruling, which takes us to number 6, which is their kings. They had kings who practiced religious tolerance. They set up effective governances where they had satraps or governors over their provinces. They built the royal road, which connected their capitals and cut travel time from 90 days by foot to 1 week. We're talking about people like Cyrus the Great, Darius, or Darius if you prefer, Xerxes, who we know from the 300 Spartans, who was also married to Esther in the Bible. But they were effective administrators, and their style of rule was copied by many people to come after them. Persia, or Iran, has a very long history. Number 5, rugs. You just can't beat Persian rugs. They can take up to a year to make, and they are considered to be the most valuable rugs in the world. One of the ways you can tell if it's a Persian rug versus, say, like a Turkish rug is by looking at the style of knot, and they use an asymmetric knot style. Spices. Number 4, definitely the Iranians are known for using wonderful spices like cardamom, cinnamon, coriander, cumin, or curry powder, which is used to flavor the food, but also to give it that nice little yellow color. But the most important Iranian spice is saffron. Saffron actually can run anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 a pound. So you just use a tiny, tiny little bit, but it does give the food a lot of flavor. Number 3, what do Iranians do better? Poetry. Rumi or Mevlana lived in the 1200s, and he is often considered to be the world's most popular poet. He was the founder of the Whirling Dervishes. He was a Sufi mystic. He believed in using music and poetry and dance as a path for reaching God. His poetry talked about a lot about love, and they're just absolutely beautiful and still extremely popular today. The second thing, number 2, that Iranians do better is religious architecture. When you think about what churches look like in America, and then you look at these amazing mosques in Iran, it's kind of hard to even imagine a comparison. They use a lot of turquoise and blue in their design, using mosaic and geometric shapes. Also even taking advantage of stained glass to do some absolutely beautiful and outstanding work. The number 1 thing that Iranians do better than Americans, that would be nose jobs. Iranians have do a lot of nose jobs because of the desire to make sure your face is presentable, specifically because your hair is covered. Iranian women will actually continue to wear a band-aid on their nose even after they have had a nose job, just so people know that they had one. They have the highest rate of nose surgeries in the world per capita. And according to most estimates, Iranians actually get 4 times the amount of nose jobs than Americans do, according to Vice News. This is definitely a status symbol. And that's it, guys. That's the 10 things that Iranians do better than Americans. Make sure you always cite your sources. You can see all of this. It's in APA style. And not only is it important to cite your information, but it's also extremely important to make sure that you cite your photos as well. Thanks for watching.